Dear students, today we can discuss the new topic, the Nazi worldview. In the previous session, we discussed the destruction of democracy and a brief description of Second World War. And here, in the eyes of Nazis, how the world is, that we are going to discuss. The crimes that Nazis committed were connected or linked to a system of beliefs and a set of practices. The crimes that are done by Nazis connected with a system of beliefs and a set of practices. So here, Nazi ideology was similar or synonymous with Hitler's worldview. So here, or according to Nazi ideology, or according to Hitler, there was no equality between people. Then what is existing there? Only a racial hierarchy. Racial hierarchy. This racial hierarchy in earlier ancient India you studied, I think that here Varna system that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, likewise in India we discussed. Earlier we discussed in your previous or lower classes you already learned. And here somewhat different here in Europe, in Germany. According to him, there were no equality between people but only a racial hierarchy. And in this hierarchy, social hierarchy, blue-eyed or blonde, blue-eyed Nordic German Aryans were at the top. Jews were located at the lowest rung. So in that hierarchy you can see blonde, blue-eyed Nordic German Aryans, that they were at the top of the hierarchy and Jews were at the lowest rung. And these Jews came to be regarded as anti-race. Jews were regarded as anti-race and they were the arch enemies of the Aryans. Jews were considered as anti-race and the enemies of Aryans. Then all other colored people were placed in between depending upon their external features. Depending upon their physical feature or external features, all other colored people were placed in between these Aryans and the Jews. And Hitler's racism, he borrowed from thinkers like Charles Darwin and Herbert Spencer. Really, this Charles Darwin and Herbert Spencer never thought about this social hierarchy. They were the natural scientists. Darwin, he was a natural scientist. He tried to explain the creation of plants and animals through the concept of evolution and natural selection. So, Darwin, he was a natural scientist. And what was his concept? Evolution and natural selection. And Herbert Spencer, he added the survival of the fittest. Those who can survive or survival of the fittest. That is the idea of Herbert Spencer. So here Darwin and Herbert Spencer, they provided these theories for the plants and animals. You know that certain plants are growing in desert area. So certain plants are growing in water likewise. That is natural selection. So and only the survival of the fittest, Herbert Spencer saying those who are fit for that, those who can adapt that particular area, they can survive in that place only. Only on the basis of plants and animals, these two natural scientists provided these theories. But what happens? Hitler borrowed these theories of the natural scientists like Darwin and this Herbert Spencer for his Nazi ideology. According to this idea, so here, according to this idea, which idea? The survival of the fittest. Only those species survived on Earth that could adapt themselves to the changing climatic conditions. You know that snow bears, so they are surviving where? In snows, likewise. So penguins, you know where they are? In penguins. So in there, when we bring that type of birds or animals in our area, what happened? They can't survive, they can't adjust with our climates. So here, so what happened? That is survival of the particular natural selection is the particular area, particular type of plants and animals are growing. And according to this idea, means only the special species survived on Earth that could adapt themselves the changing climatic conditions. And we should bear in the mind that Darwin never advocated human intervention in what he thought was a purely natural process of selection. But what happened? His ideas were used by racist thinkers and politicians to justify imperial rule over conquered peoples. Nazi argument was very simple. According to Nazi, the strongest race would survive and the weak ones would perish or destroy. So here, these Nazis, they accepted these ideas of natural selection. And what is their idea? They, according to them, strongest race would survive and the weak ones would destroy or perish. And here, the strongest race, according to them, Aryan race. Then Aryan race was the best. It had to retain its purity, become stronger and dominate the world. Only one race want to survive in this world according to Nazis. Which race? Aryan race. The other aspect of Hitler's ideology related to the geopolitical concept of Lebensraum. Lebensraum means a living space. And Hitler believed here, or what is his geopolitical concept or Lebensraum or living space? Hitler believed that new territories had to be acquired for settlement. Conquering the new territories for what? To live Germans. And it would enhance the area of the mother country, Germany, and help the German people can use that particular area or new land for living there. And also this new land create an intimate connection with the place of their origin, that is Germany. And it would also enhance the material resources and power of the German nation. So what is his idea? Hitler want to conquer neighboring countries for living space and also acquire other resources. Okay. Then next we can discuss another point, the establishment of racial state. Racial state means Hitler want to make Germany as a pure Aryan state. So what are the next steps Hitler taken to make Germany as a pure Aryan state? Now Hitler or Nazis acquired power. So quickly they began to implement their dream of creating an exclusive racial community of pure Germans by physically eliminating all those who were seen as undesirable in the extended empire. So what they think? Physical elimination of others. Only the German Aryans were considered as desirables. They were only allowed to live. Others were physically eliminated, means others want to kill. Others want to be physically eliminated, means they want to be killed. So Nazis wanted only a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. So underline here, Nazis wanted only a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. And these pure, healthy Aryans were considered as what? Desirable. and only they were seen as worthy of prospering and also multiplying against all others who were classed as undesirable. So he categorized the people desired and undesirable. Desirable category only these German Nordic Aryans, healthy Aryans. See, and this means that even those Germans who were seen as impure or abnormal, they had no right to live. Even German Aryans were seen as impure or abnormal. They had also no right to exist in Germany, live in Germany. And here, under the euthanasia program, Helmut's father, along with other Nazi officials, had condemned to death many Germans who were considered as mentally or physically unfit. So the German or Nazis used the term euthanasia program. For what purpose? This euthanasia program means the killing of mentally and physically unfit people. That is known as euthanasia program. And for this, Helmut's father helped the Nazis. You know that? So what happened now? Even pure German Aryans, they were mentally or physically unfit. They were also killed. And killing of this mentally and physically disabled people, that program known as euthanasia program. Then next, Jews were not the only community classified as undesirable. At the same time, we think that Jews only undesirable. In Germany, not only the Jews were the undesirable, but many other groups are there. Many gypsies and blacks living in Nazi Germany were considered as racial inferiors, who threatened the biological purity of the superior Aryan race. And what happened? Widely, these gypsies were killed, persecuted. Even Russians and Poles were considered as subhuman in Germany, and also they were not allowed to live in Germany. And when Germany occupied Poland and parts of Russia, captured civilians were forced to work as slave labor. Many of them died simply through hard work and starvation, means without getting food, they died. So here Jews, mentally and physically unfit people, gypsies, some Poles and Russians, all were considered as undesirable in Germany. And among the undesirable people in Germany, according to Nazis, the worst sufferers, very badly suffered by whom? The worst sufferers, they were the Jews. Nazi hatred of the Jews had a precursor in the traditional Christian hostility towards Jews. So Nazis considered Jews as a foreigner in the traditional Christian hostility, Christian enmity towards Jews. You know that once this Judas betrayed Jesus Christ. So he belonged in Jews family. So what happened? That enmity still they are continuing. So here, like that is why this Nazi is creating that enmity here. They considered Jews as the precursor in the traditional Christian hostility towards the Jews. And they had been stereotyped as killers of Christ and assassins. So here, these Jewish people were considered as killers of Christ and assassins. Assassins means some more people, they are lending money for high rate of interest. That is assassins. So these Jewish people were considered as killers of Christ and assassins. And until medieval times, Jews were barred from owning land. They were not allowed to own land. Then how they survived? Through trade and money lending. They lived in separately marked areas called ghettos. Underline this point. Jews lived in separately marked areas were called ghettos. And they were often persecuted through periodic organized violence and expulsion from the land. They were removed from their land. Hitler's hatred of Jews was based on a particular theory, pseudo-scientific theories of race. Hitler's hatred of Jews was based on pseudo-scientific theories of race. Underline this, pseudo-scientific theories of race, which held that conversion was no solution to Jewish problem. It could be solved only through their total elimination, physical elimination. Hitler according to Hitler, Jews category, they were not allowed to live. So, and only on which basis Hitler saying this, on the basis of pseudo-scientific theories of race. Then what do you mean by pseudo-scientific theory? A collection of or beliefs or practices, mistakenly regarded as being based on scientific method. So this some set of collection or beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as what? Based on some scientific method. So Hitler's hatred of Jews was based on pseudo-scientific theories of race. And according to him, so see, to escape from Hitler, some Jewish people, they tried to convert into Christianity. But according to Hitler, conversion was no solution to Jewish problem. Then what is the solution there? Physical elimination, total elimination, killing the Jews. That is the only solution according to Hitler. Then from 1933 to 1938, Nazis, they terrorized, pauperized, and separated the Jews, segregated the Jews, and compelling them to leave the country. 1933 to 1938, this period, Nazis, they terrorized, pauperized, and segregated the Jews and compelled them to move away from the country. And the second phase, that means 1939 to 45, that means during the Second World War, aimed at concentrating them into certain areas and eventually killing them in gas chambers in Poland. So in the first phase, 1933, Jews were compelled to leave from the country. The second phase, that means during the Second World War, 1939 to 1945, Jews were concentrated into some concentration camps or killing centers. And what happened? At last, these Jewish people, they were killed in the gas chambers in Poland. In this way, Jewish people were the worst sufferers in Nazi Germany. That much cruelty Nazis done against the Jewish people. The next topic is the racial utopia. Race means based on race, racial. Then utopia means it is not real, it is imaginary, an imaginary place or a state where the things were or everything were perfect. That is known as utopia. So here racial utopia we can discuss. And in the Second World War, during the Second World War, the Nazis proceeded to realize their murderous racial ideal. And the Nazis, they showed their murderous racial ideal. Genocide and war became two sides of the same coin. So this earlier we discussed Nazis waged a genocidal war. Genocide means killing of large masses. It is known as genocide. So under the shadow of the Second World War, these Nazis done a lot of large masses were killed. So genocide and war became the two sides of the same coin in the Second World War. Occupied, so what happened? Here occupied Poland was divided up. 1939, you know that this Germany occupied Poland, and that occupied Poland was divided into two. Much of northwestern Poland was annexed to Germany. Polish people were forced to leave their homes and properties behind to be occupied by ethnic Germans brought in from occupied Europe. So what happened here? The occupied Poland was divided into two, and from one side all the Polish people were forced to leave from their homeland, their properties and everything. And there who occupied, the Germans occupied that area. And the other side, Polish people were herded like cattle, and in the other part called as general government, the other side of the Poland known as general government, there the Polish people were considered as cattle and the destination of all undesirables of the empire. So in the general government we can see that this part of Poland, the German Nazis, they used to kill the people. Members of the Polish intelligentsia were murdered in large numbers in order to keep entire people intellectually and spiritually surveilled. So what happened? All the Polish scholars and Polish people, what happened? In large numbers they were killed. Polish children who looked like Aryans were forcibly snatched from their mothers and examined by racial experts. And if they passed the race test, they were raised in German families. And if not, they were deposited in orphanages where most destroyed, perished. With some of the largest ghettos and gas chambers, the general government also served as the killing fields for the Jews. So one side of the Poland, occupied Poland, considered as general government. And this place particularly used for killing the Jews. Many gas chambers are there, and Jewish people sent it to the gas chambers, and using the gas, Jewish people were killed. So what happened? This occupied Poland area, the Polish children, those who looked like Aryans, they were forcibly taken from their parents, and racial experts, they conducted a racial test. And if they passed the racial test, they were raised in German families, not within their parents. They were taken in German families. And what happened? If they were not passed in this racial test, they were sent to orphanages. And at last, what happened? They were also killed. So we can see that largest ghetto camps and gas chambers in general government, and this general government served as the killing fields for the Jews. So in this way, what happened? Other than the Aryans, so only Aryans can exist in Germany. All other people, they were killed. So to maintain the racial purity of German Aryans. So here we are concluding the racial utopia. Thank you. Have a nice day.